In a magical kingdom, far beyond the mountains and rivers, lived a little princess named Snow White. Her skin was as white as snow, her lips were red like the petals of a rose, and her hair shone like black silk. The queen, her stepmother, was beautiful, but her heart was cold and cruel. Every day, she stood before her magic mirror and asked, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" For many years, the mirror replied, "You are the fairest, my queen." But one day, the mirror changed its answer. "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The queen's eyes turned dark with jealousy. In rage, she summoned a huntsman and whispered a terrible command. "Take her deep into the forest, and never let her return." The kind-hearted huntsman led Snow White into the woods. But when he looked into her gentle eyes, he could not harm her. "Run, child," he said. "Run far away and never come back." Tears rolling down her cheeks, Snow White fled through the dark, tangled forest. Twigs scratched her arms, and strange sounds echoed all around. She was frightened, alone, and lost. After wandering for hours, she came upon a tiny cottage hidden between the trees. Inside were little chairs, little beds, and everything small and neat. Exhausted, she lay across the beds and drifted into a deep sleep. That evening, the seven dwarfs returned from their day in the diamond mines. They gasped in surprise to find a sleeping girl in their home. But when they saw her gentle face, they smiled. And from that night on, they welcomed Snow White with all their hearts.
Snow White had found peace in the cozy little house of the seven dwarfs. Every day, she cleaned, cooked, and sang songs that made the forest come alive. But far away, the evil queen stared into her magic mirror and discovered the terrible truth. "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? You, my queen, used to be. But now, it is Snow White, living in the forest." Furious, the queen vowed revenge. She disguised herself as an old peddler woman and set out for the woods. One sunny morning, while the dwarfs were at work in the mines, a wrinkled old woman appeared at the window. "Lovely apples, dearie, the juiciest in the land." Tempted, Snow White took the shiny red apple. One bite, and she fell to the ground, lifeless. When the dwarfs returned, they were heartbroken. They could not bury her. She looked as if she were just asleep. So they built her a glass coffin and placed her in the woods, surrounded by flowers and their love. One bright morning, a young prince was riding through the enchanted forest. Birds chirped cheerfully, and sunlight sparkled through the leaves. Suddenly, he came across a small clearing. There stood a glass coffin, and inside it lay the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. Prince, whispering, "Who is this angel? Her beauty is beyond words." The seven dwarfs stood beside the coffin, their eyes full of sadness. Doc the dwarf. "She is Snow White, our dear friend. She was poisoned by a wicked queen and fell into eternal sleep." Prince. "No. There must be a way to save her." The prince knelt beside Snow White and gently held her hand. He whispered with all his heart, "Prince, even if we've never met before, I know I love you." He kissed her gently on the forehead. Suddenly, a warm light surrounded the coffin. Snow White's eyes opened slowly. "Snow White, softly. Where am I?" The dwarfs cheered and danced in joy. Snow White smiled, and the forest seemed to sing with happiness. "Prince, will you come with me to my kingdom?" Snow White. "Yes, with all my heart." Far away, the evil queen asked her mirror again. "Queen, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" Mirror. "Not you, my queen. Snow White is alive, and more beautiful than ever." Narrator. Enraged, the queen smashed the mirror. But soon, she was captured and banished forever from the kingdom. The prince and Snow White held a grand wedding. The dwarfs sat in the front row, smiling from ear to ear. And from that day forward, they ruled the kingdom with kindness and love. And they lived happily ever after.